So I gotta have the traffic noise behind the camera here. So if you could stand right there, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So this is Nando, and we could talk to each other, but just realize it's there. So we should be in there. So you heard the question, but I'll say it again for the camera. What do you think happens after this life? So what's your first reaction to that?
For me, originally, I was younger. I was brought up to believe in heaven. So I was born with a Christian family. And throughout that time, I was thinking about how the world looks. I'm like, if there's a heaven, then what's this about, right?
Okay.
So for me personally, I kind of don't believe there's a heaven, but I believe I'm kind of like, there may be heaven. I'm not all for, but not all against it. I'm hoping, so I'm not 100% into it right now.
Okay. And so you said something about like if there's a heaven, are you saying like why is this world the way it is? That kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously this isn't heaven, right?
Yeah, for some people it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my take on it is there's a lot of good all around us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bad. We're kind of in the middle, right? And so, yeah, for some people it's a hell on earth, and other people it's a heaven on earth, you know. Now, you said a Christian background? Is that Catholic or Christian? Or I'm just trying to...
I have a Christian... My mom has a Christian background, so does my dad and my grandma, so majority of my side of the family has a Christian background. While the person, my girlfriend has a Catholic background, and her entire family does the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm kind of between everything right now. I'm like... Because me and her plan to get married, and since she's a Catholic, the whole Catholic marriage thing has to work out some way. So I'm trying to figure out if I should go for it just with the marriage license.
I think you have to go through like the Catholic catechism and all that sort of thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which for most people, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is like a 3-year process of classes or something. I don't know.
That's my hell on earth. Like, I love her because I do anything for her. But when it comes to religion, I have to do anything for her because I want to see her happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against it. Like, I went to church with her, with her family. Like, I like it. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's nice, and I like to spend time with her. So if it means that, then sure, I'll do
just
it.
like going to church and stuff like that.
Because even her aunt had the same relationship with her husband when he was like me, but then he believed something maybe that happened to me.
Yeah. Now, Nando, would you say you believe in God or a higher power?
Oh yeah, like I said, I used to do a lot of church when I was younger, and they used to have little note cards, so I used to take it very seriously. So I used to definitely after school church, the little school classes they had for kids, all that.
Like the Bible, like maybe vacation Bible school, things like that, or.
It's more like when you're in church and the parents are doing the mass, and there's like a little area for the kids.
Okay, and so maybe what you were raised to believe, but it sounds like you're wondering about it now.
Yeah.
Would you say you were raised to believe there's a heaven and a hell too?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And what, from your knowledge, like what would be the difference between someone who ends up in, and I'm not saying what you believe, but what you believe you were taught, I guess. The difference between someone who ends up in heaven and hell.
So I guess the difference would have to be, I guess, life choices. And that's what comes down to, right? Good, bad choices, like all the good things we've done, bad things.
Yeah.
So it'll have to be for good people, have to be all the, I guess, charitable people, right?
All the what?
Charitable people.
Charitable, yeah.
Done more good than bad for the world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm not for Trump. So he's done a lot of shady stuff. So.
Okay. He would not be one of the.
In my opinion, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not political. I'm not, because I do vote I vote once.
Right.
I've been too busy. I've just, not to get political, but just, yes, I do. Bad people do bad things. Go to hell. Good people.
So, do you think if a person? So, I'm a Christian. I believe I'm going to heaven, right?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm basically would have to say, well, I'm going to heaven, and a lot of people are not, and I'm better than those people? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is that what a person, like a Christian, has to believe? Kind of like, if it's based on being a good enough person.
No, I don't think so. I just think it's just being a good person at heart.
Yeah.
It's like you said. It's like I'm saying right now. You just have to be good when it comes to like being a considerable person.
Okay.
Like some stuff like sharing a seat on the bus or giving $1 to a person doesn't mean you're better. Just means you care. And
okay. A a kind person. Yeah.
Yeah, a kind soul, and just like you don't want violence, you just want peace.
Yeah. Now, if it's so, what I want to kind of like think about where you're coming from with it. What would you say is the major thing that makes you have maybe doubts or just kind of be up in the air about the whole thing? You know?
Yeah, it has to be all the suffering in the world. Like Africa, the main big one right there.
Yeah.
Just comes to mind in my mind.
Yeah.
And I see people always asking for money. I'm thinking, was it their choice, or was it like already decided when they were born, family-wise, and all that financially not happening?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if they had a good life, then maybe. Everyone has a good life, then maybe. But some people don't, and it's not their fault. And
Yeah.
they're the ones suffering for others' mistakes, so it's not fair.
Okay. So just the injustice of the world, and is that kind of a reflection on God? Like, how can God be there and good and great, powerful, able to solve the problem, good, wanting to solve the problem, and not do anything about it? Or is it more a reflection on, say, the organized church and organized religion? And if there's all these religions in the world, why is the world so bad? Would you blame it more on people or on God?
That's a tough question right there. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I can't blame someone who's not here, but I have to blame people because we can make our own decisions.
Yeah.
Even when we're taught something, we can still decide not to believe in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been doing recently.
Yeah.
So I guess for the Pope and the Catholic churches, they've been doing the right thing, teaching others to do unto others as you. I'm freezing right here. As you will have them do unto you. So that's a good thing to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing.
So, let me ask you this, and you're cold, right?
Oh, I'm freezing right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I can handle it.
You're good?
Yeah.
All right. So my question is, if the problems of the world, like a lot of them, some of them are just natural disasters, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, there's a locust infestation,
Locust.
plague in Africa. But if God was to solve the problem of the evil and the injustice in the world by removing the evil from the world, would he remove you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. For you,
I mean, especially as us like rich Americans using a vast, way more than our share of resources on the earth and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yes. Contemplating our own decisions in life,
if we really want God to get rid of the evil, is that us saying get rid of everybody else but me because I'm not evil?
Yeah, it's a tough choice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a self-sacrifice, right?
Yeah. So it's like, so these are questions of God's will. If God was in charge, was to make it so, if the world was perfect, would we have choices, even though those choices include doing bad things? Because we do make the choice to do a lot of self-centered, selfish things, unjust behavior, things like that.
Yeah.
So just some things to think about, I'm trying to, because I have lots of questions I could ask you, but I know you're cold and I want to respect, your time and everything like that. But do you feel like if it's based on being a good person, would you end up in heaven or hell? Like say you died today and you're standing before God and it's Judgment Day, based on what you know of the Bible, not what you believe necessarily, but what you know the Bible teaches.
Right.
Would you be that person who God is like, oh, you're a great guy, let you into heaven,
I think for me it'd be a 60-40 chance.
Uh-huh.
Because
so the odds are better.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a few good things. I've done bad things too. I'm not gonna lie. Stole, cheat at school, like some places. So, and I did the 3 things you never do. So I'm not perfect, but
yeah,
I have to say they're not as defined as my bigger actions.
Yeah.
It's like they say, do the actions outweigh the means.
Right. Like so you feel like sometimes you do things for the right reasons, even if it's the wrong behavior. Yeah. So for me, I'll make this real quick. For me, if I was standing before God and it's based on my behavior, Now, don't forget, I believe I'm going to heaven, right? But it's not because I'm a good person. So if it was based on my good behavior, I'd be a liar because I've lied. I think you probably would too. I would be a thief because I've stolen in my life, at some point, long time ago, but I have. I'm guilty as charged. According to Jesus, I'd be a murderer because he said murder is wrong, but don't even hurt people with your words, So he said, if you have anger in your heart towards your brother and you call him a fool, you're in danger of the fire of hell, is what he said.
That's a bad thing for me then.
Okay. So you and I both, adultery, sex outside of marriage. I won't get into your sex life, but Jesus even said, even if we look with lust, we're guilty of committing adultery in our hearts, right? I'm guilty of that. Using God's name disrespectfully, that's blasphemy. So I'm just kind of going through some of the commandments, right? The 10 commandments.
Yeah.
And based on those, I would be guilty basically as sin, very guilty. I would not deserve heaven, right? According to the Bible, I would deserve hell, the just punishment for my sins.
Right.
But God, loving justice, would say, yes, there is a punishment for sin, but also loving me, loving us, God in his design has come down to earth and taken our punishment in our place. You know how he did that?
Yeah.
In Jesus, right? So I think I'm going to heaven not because I deserve it. I know I don't. I'm a guilty sinner, guilty as charged.
Here.
And so on Judgment Day, I wouldn't want justice because what I deserve. That justice is like getting what you deserve, right? Mercy is not getting what I deserve or getting what I don't deserve. Grace, I would want mercy and grace on Judgment Day. Well, the only way that will be possible, according to the Bible, is if God's justice is satisfied, because God is good, there must be a punishment for sin. It's just that he took it himself rather than me having to take it. So I came to a point where, I was told about, that's called the gospel, the good news of,
Jonah? Of Jonah?
Well, the good...
Oh, sorry, I think it's someone else. Sorry.
Yeah, so the good news of Jesus, that he died in my place, that I could be saved through faith in Jesus, And so it's possible to not have to think that I'm better than other people, but I'm still going to heaven. And that's because Jesus, he didn't die for good people, he died for sinners. The Bible says everyone has sinned, so there are no good people, compared to God, but he died for sinners. So that's kind of in a nutshell, the gospel. But I'm going to turn this off. That's all right. Yeah. Let you go because I know you're cold. I'm cold and I have a jacket on, so you don't have it. Oh, you got a jacket.
I just
okay.
yeah.
So